On today's Locked On Thunder podcast, we're going to dive into the Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Orlando Magic to improve to 1-1 in the Vegas portion of Summer League. Chet Holmgren dominates, Aaron Wiggins plays mistake-free, and Vic Oladipo is applying pressure to the Oklahoma City Thunder. All of that and more coming up on today's Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your teams every day. I am your host, media member, and editor-in-chief over at thunderousintentions.com, Rylan Styles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Styles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, we're going to dive into Chet Holmgren dominating this game against Orlando. Wiggins playing mistake-free basketball. Both Jalen Williams turning in a solid game. Trey Mann continues to struggle. Jerry steals the show. And Vic Oladipo applies pressure to the Oklahoma City Thunder. What do I mean by that? We'll talk about that coming up. Thank you for making Locked On Thunder your first listen every single morning, every single day. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball. Make sure you subscribe for free across all platforms so you never miss an episode, including on YouTube, where you can drop a comment down below to let us know how you feel about the Thunder and everything else regarding Oklahoma City basketball. So the game overview, Thunder, Magic. It was supposed to be Chet Holmgren, Paolo Banchero, but Paolo Banchero was shut down for Summer League. He's already impressed. He's already stole the show for Orlando. They didn't want to see any more from him. They saw all they needed to see. He did not play. RJ Hampton also did not play. He was another headliner of their team. That was on their team last year, of course. And then for the Thunder, Lindy Waters did not play. Pokusevski did not play. And Ousmane Dieng did not play. He was resting in this game. He's not hurt. He's just resting. And I'm sure he'll be back, of course, on Wednesday. For the Thunder, Josh Giddey and Chet Holmgren both did play. So the Thunder start out with Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, Aaron Wiggins, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, and Chet Holmgren. And Orlando starts out with Thunder legend Xavier Simpson, Caleb Houston, and Emmanuel Thierry headline their starters. Now, obviously, all eyes are going to turn to Chet Holmgren in Summer League, and that's the most important storyline. And in this game, you saw why. In this game, Chet Holmgren just simply dominated the contest. And he was able to produce 16 points, 10 rebounds, of course, a double-double, 2 assists, 2 blocks, multiple iffy whistles, which wiped away blocks and led to 5 fouls on him. But even without getting the block stat, he was still able to alter a ton of shots at the rim and, kind of make his presence felt defensively. I love what I saw from Chet Holmgren in this game. I think that when you're watching Chet Holmgren over the course of the Summer League, as I said yesterday, it's just a calming nature about it. Again, the iffy whistles have been happening all night against Orlando. That was one of the most iffy officiated games ever. Obviously, it does not matter. It's a Summer League game, but still, he could have had more blocks in that column than 2. And then even without the, iffy foul calls, he still was able to impact defensively as well. Offensively, 16 points on 70% shooting from the floor, 2 for 4 from 3, including a fantastic sidestep, step back 3, which, a 7'1" center should not be able to do, and he's able to do it. The Thunder were plus 15 whenever he was on the floor in this game. Look, Summer League has shown that Chet Holmgren has star power, has star potential, can be that player we've never seen before, can be that number 1, number 2 building block for a franchise, can be somebody that you build around long-term in Oklahoma City. It's shown that. It is confirmed what we've seen from him in college, we've seen from him in high school, that he is he is warranted the 2nd overall pick and could have been the 1st overall pick, whatever you want to say. We've still seen that incredibly high ceiling from him in Summer League. But, as I mentioned yesterday, you can go back and listen to that podcast. My biggest takeaway from this is that Chet Holmgren has shown us his floor as well. It's natural to have fears and worries, especially those of us that worry more than others about everything in life, right? So on draft night, whenever the Thunder pass up Jabari Smith Jr., who all throughout the pre-draft process felt like the safest pick. He's the safest player in the draft. You can clearly see how he'd fit next to Josh Giddey and SGA, two facilitators to set him up on the catch and shoot. The defense was just vaunted, of course, in the pre-draft process. When you pass up on that safe option, it's easy to worry. Well, Chet Holmgren, we've never seen it before, so how are we sure it's going to work? What about his frame? What about his size? What about his weight? You can talk yourself into a tizzy of, I'm so nervous that this won't work out. After watching him play in Summer League, again, you can't make the sweeping, judgments, and you can't call him Dirk Nowitzki after 4 games. But what I am confident in saying after 4 games is he's not going to bust out of the league. Now, we're not going to predict injuries, so injuries can change all of this conversation. But if he stays healthy, he's going to be in the NBA. He will not go down as Anthony Bennett. He will not go down as one of the other busts in NBA history, right? You pick the guy who's at least going to have staying power in the league and staying power at a high level, because you're not going to find very many 7-1 guys who can hit step-back threes or even catch and shoot threes while still protecting the rim at a very high clip. So I think that was a solid start. And I know it's boring. We want to go on this podcast. We want to go on every platform out there and just say, oh, look, Sam Presti just drafted Dirk Nowitzki with defense, which is what Jackson Gatlin said on Locked On NBA on Monday, which I was a part of. So go back and listen to that one as well. We want to be able to say that and be serious about it, right? You can't do that off of 4 Summer League games. But what you can do is say, look, we've seen how he will react to an NBA environment, and it's at least going to be passable. It's at least going to be a guy that can remain in the league. And that should alleviate any worries that you had previously. And they were worries. I mean, go back on these previous episodes and look in the comment section on YouTube. There were worries about if Chet Holmgren will bust out of the NBA and if he'll just be this humongous bust. I feel confident that won't happen. And it's not the stats. It's not the per-game averages of him in Summer League. It's just the eye test of watching how he plays the game and watching how he plays off of NBA players, which, again, the Thunder Summer League roster is pretty much their NBA roster, sans, Muscala, Hustle, SGA, Dort, sans those guys, it favors. It's their NBA roster. And so I feel very confident that Chet Holmgren is going to be able to stay in the NBA, and I also feel very confident that he has that superstar potential. Because when you look at games where he doesn't have great offensive nights, he still impacts the game at a very high clip. He still impacts the game with his defense, with his passing, with his ball handling at his size, the ability to grab and go off the rim on rebounds. And in this game, he had his offense going. And in fact, I would have loved to see him take over the game more offensively and demand the ball more offensively. But he's able to stay under control and put up 16 and 10. And you put up 16 and 10 next to Josh Giddey and SGA, that's a great recipe for success for that trio, while shooting 70% from the floor and 2 for 4 from 3. The pick and pop stuff with Shea's driving ability is going to be awesome. Like, we're not just seeing him overpower lesser talented guys, right? Like, in the sense of, it doesn't look like, oh, well, he's just playing against bad competition, that's why he's thriving. No, he's doing things, the process of getting to the 16 points, the process of getting to the 10 rebounds, the process of getting to the assists and the blocks and everything. The process of doing that is stuff that clearly and totally will translate to the NBA and get better in the NBA whenever you're playing off of guys like Shea. So I love what we've seen from Chet Holmgren. He gets another passing grade for this game. I'm not sure, how much more he'll play in Summer League. I'm not sure how much more Josh Giddey will play in Summer League. We've been saying that for a lot of games now, but you're seeing the magic pull off of Paolo Banchero. This is kind of around the time that teams start to do that. I warned you about that, in the preview portion. Don't freak out and say the Thunder are tanking Summer League because they might shut some of these guys down. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just how Summer League goes. So we might see that. We might not. Who knows? But that was a very fun game. If that was the last game that we see Chet Holmgren and Josh Giddey play in Summer League, it was a very fun game. And both the games have been fun. Even lost at Houston, came down to the wire. It was a fun basketball game to watch. And so we'll see how they build off of this for Wednesday. coming up, but also there's still more to talk about. We got to talk about Josh Giddey. We got to talk about Aaron Wiggins. We got to talk about Vic Oladipo, and both the Jalen's all coming up. But first, I want to say right now, our good friends over at Built Bar. Built Bar is a fantastic protein bar that tastes just like a candy bar. Go to BuiltBar.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off of your next order. Folks, they have the coconut brownie chunk bar back, and you're going to love it. And if you've never tried it before, make sure you try it right now, because I'm not kidding you a bit. Every single Locked On host on the network, every single one of us, we all, whenever we're debating these flavors, we all say coconut brownie chunk is the very best. So check it out. Coconut brownie chunk. They also have it in coconut brownie chunk puffs, which is another thing. The puffs are this new kind of marshmallowy taste with chocolate on the outside. So it's a perfect blend and perfect combination that you're going to want to get your hands on. Built bars are protein bars that taste like a candy bar. They're great pre-workout, post-workout, or even as a meal replacement or a snack. Check them out today. Built.com, promo code LOCK15, 15% off your next order. Built.com, promo code LOCK15, 15% off of your next order. We are back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. Cannot wait for this team to hit the floor in about 99 days or so in the regular season, because this is going to be very fun to watch them get put together. But Josh Giddey, of course, played again. 12 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, a steal, 0 for 2 from 3, 6 for 7 at the line, 3 of 11 from the floor. He played this game with such intensity, such passion, arguing with the refs in Summer League. Like, you just love to see how much he cares about winning and cares about the game of basketball. That was just awesome. Again, it's Summer League. It doesn't really matter. He did give approval to the Chetmate nickname, so that was fun. Like, if you're into the nicknames and into the social media aspect of the game, he does like the Chetmate nickname for him and Chet as a duo. I'm not sure if he'll play again, but we'll see. This is kind of just the area where you start shutting down your guys. But another good game from Giddey. I still like the aggression we've seen. I still like the improvement from his strength and his ball handling that we've seen. And so we'll see if he plays again, or if we have to wait till October for the preseason to roll around to see him play again. But the big story to me is Aaron Wiggins. I mentioned it yesterday. Aaron Wiggins should not be on the roster bubble anymore after scoring 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. He did go 1 for 4 from 3. Now, one of those threes was just a desperation heave with like 0.1 seconds left on the shot clock. So like, he really went 1 for 3 from 3. He shot 55% from the floor still, while going 1 for 3 from 3, 1 for 4 in actuality. But it was thanks to his incredible cuts. And you see the discipline and you see the savviness of Wiggins on those cuts, especially that one on the inbound coming off that screen where Josh Giddey just blows you away with his inbounding ability. He did it all last year. He did it again in Summer League. He just throws the ball around a defender to a cutting Wiggins for an easy layup. Wiggins knows when to attack the defense and when to get into the teeth of him on those cuts. He just plays the perfect game. He's really good defensively. He's really, really good defensively. He can shoot the ball as well. And he's able to just, impact the game at a high level with his defense, with his jump shot. And for Aaron Wiggins, I think that his game is so well-rounded because he can pass the ball in the flow. Like, he's not going to steal the show. He's not going to become this Josh Giddey-esque playmaker, but he knows when to pass, where to pass, and how to keep the offense moving. He knows when to cut. He knows when to shoot. He knows how to play defense as a team and how to rotate. I just love his game. And you look at that last defensive possession, and it was very chaotic. So the Thunder did get some pushback on this last defensive possession, but I thought it was picture perfect whenever you actually break it down. I think that it was just kind of, the one-time watch-through that fans had in real time, and you just see how many chances Orlando got, and you just assume it was a bad defensive possession, and it was kind of that sort of thing. But if you actually watch the play, you had on this play, the first shot from Orlando was even with the logo, and Josh Giddey threw his arm up at him, but didn't, of course, attack the closeout because he's shooting from the logo. The ball comes off the rim at an awkward angle. Chet Holmgren tried to get the rebound, but a guy soared over the back of him and got it. Could he have boxed out harder? Maybe, but who knows? And that rebound goes to a kick out in the corner. And Wiggins sprints out to the corner, has one of the best closeouts you're going to see, gets his hand right in the face of the shooter, defends the shooter at such a, great level and such a great closeout that if he did it any better, he would have fouled them. That's how close he got to the shooter. And the shooter misses at the buzzer and it's over. Chet Holmgren on the rebound with like 0.1 seconds left. And that's it. So like the defensive possession, you're not going to guard a guy at the logo, unless it's Dame or Steph. And it certainly was not. And then the rebound over Chet is just kind of basketball, right? Like it's easy to say, well, you should have boxed out hard. That's not kind of how boxing out works. And then the kick out to the corner, you're able to combat with your defensive rotations. And that's what I was getting to in game one. This team is so well designed for defense at every stage of it. Not only do they have an elite rim protector in Chet Holmgren, not only do they have an elite perimeter defender in Lu Dort, but every player has length, has size, has quickness, and that length allows for Wiggins to shoot out from the low block to the corner in a matter of moments, or from the elbow to the corner, in a matter of moments to close out that three-point attempt, alter the shot, make sure he misses, and win the game for you. So with this length and with this defensive prowess and knowledge on your team and understanding how to rotate, the Thunder are never out of a play on defense. They're never just at the whim of the offense. They're always able to recover, to get the block, to get the stop, to alter a shot, to contest a shot. They're always able to stay in the moment. And you saw Jalen Williams, come from behind block. From Santa Clara, Jalen Williams come from behind block. And so with Aaron Wiggins, though, I just think that he plays the perfect game, and he was under control in that chaotic defensive possession. He knew what to do after the rebound was made. He knew where the ball was going to go, so he was able to get there with the ball, attack the closeout, force the miss from the corner three. I love what we saw from him. Speaking of Santa Clara, Jalen Williams, this was the first poor shooting night from him. He didn't shoot the ball well at all. He had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. But I feel like if you watch this game without the box score, like if you did not have the triple monitor setup that we got over here, and you didn't have the box score up, and you weren't like nerding out over this game, you were just sitting back on your couch watching it. I feel like if that's what you were doing last night and you were enjoying yourself and watching the game, you wouldn't have known he shot the ball poorly. Like you wouldn't have known that, like, technically speaking, in the box score, this wasn't the best game from him, because he made his impact felt beyond shooting. He had that block from behind. He had that incredible lob. He had that incredible kind of hop step, split the defense through 2 defenders, and off that hop step comes a standing dunk, right? Like leaping back up to the rim to dunk it. Like he had those moments where it felt like he was impacting the game at such a high level, even while he's shooting poorly. And that's kind of the testament of Jalen Williams. I think that he's a ready-made NBA player who will help you, win games as a rookie, or make winning plays at least. Obviously you can't put winning all on one player, but like he'll do things in the NBA that are useful as a rookie. He will not be a net negative as a young player. And a lot of the times young players will be a negative at times just because they're learning how to play in the league and they're learning how to play basketball still. And, they might make a bad play down the stretch or so, and that's no fault to them. It's just that they're growing in the game of basketball. But with Jalen Williams, it seems like he's so advanced for a rookie. And he made some fancy athletic plays, which, of course, was a little bit of a knock on him in the pre-draft process. It was good to see. But yeah, this was the first time in Summer League that he didn't shoot the ball well. And he was still able to, you were still able to walk away impressed with him. Again, I truly believe that if you polled Thunder fans last night that did not see the box score, they only watched the game, and you asked them who impressed you, Williams would be one of the first names mentioned, and he didn't shoot the ball well. And that was the first time, all Summer League he didn't shoot it well. So I was impressed with him. Let's talk about the Arkansas Jalen Williams coming up. Let's also talk about how Vic Oladipo is applying pressure to the Oklahoma City Thunder and more. We are back on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. Call into the show if you would like as well. So let's talk about Jalen Williams of Arkansas. He has not been kind of a standout by any means, but this was the first game where he made his impact known, and you saw some things that can lead to playing time eventually. Now, I think that out of the gate, like in October, come October 19th when the season starts, like I think that at that date he won't be in the rotation, if I had to guess. But I think that later on in the season you can see him there because he does some things that you like. The 6 rebounds were great. The good defense is great. Yeah, the 2 steals, 2 assists. The playmaking in the high post is the thing I think that the Thunder are going to like a lot from him. On top of the defense, on top of taking charges, on top of the rebounding, right? The ability to pass out of the high post is something that Mark really leans on, and you saw that highlighted especially with Al Horford. And so they've been trying to get guys like that can do those sort of things. And it looks like Jalen Williams out of Arkansas can do that. And so that was the first real game of him that I felt like he impacted the game a lot so far in Summer League, and that was great. And he signed his deal a couple of days ago, with the Thunder. Officially, he's on a multi-year deal. It'll be like Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. It'll be like 2 years guaranteed, 2 years not guaranteed of the 4-year deal. But it was great that he showed up and had his fingerprints on this game. Speaking of Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, he was also fantastic. 12 points, 7 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks, an assist, 80% shooting from the floor. He can shoot the ball from 3 as well. I think he went 0 for 1 in this game, though, from 3. But his ability to shoot, his versatility on defense, the rebounding ability of his, he just fits so seamlessly into the modern NBA that I just love what we see from Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. And I think that he's poised for a leap in year 2. Now, I know that we hate to say leap in year 2 because obviously guys are going to get better year 1 to year 2. But I still think that we're going to be very impressed with him in year 2, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. Now, Vic Oladipo is applying pressure to the Thunder, and how is he doing that? Well, we talked yesterday about how, I don't believe Aaron Wiggins should be on the roster bubble. The Thunder clearly have a roster crunch, and clearly they're going to have to cut some guys, and clearly they're going to have to cut some guys that you like, as you saw with Isaiah Roby. And I think Wiggins should be taken off that roster bubble. I think that he can really impact the team long-term and impact winning basketball eventually in OKC. But the Thunder really like Vic Oladipo. Like, the Thunder really, really like him. They've invested in him. It's his first healthy off season. The Thunder would like to see him make the roster. And he's putting pressure on the Thunder to let him make the roster. Because in just 13 minutes last night, that's all he got was 13 minutes. He shot 3 of 5 from the floor, 7 points, a rebound. And the most important part, we know Vic Oladipo can shoot the ball. We know he can get creative offensively at times. The most important part is throughout this entire summer league, whenever he's been given the opportunity to play, he has shown improvement on defense, and that was the big ask of him. That's what the Thunder organization asked him to do this offseason, improve on defense, and he's done that. Mix that with his offensive playmaking, his offensive scoring, and you've got a player that's worth taking a flyer on and worth taking a chance on and worth bringing into the next season. Now, how you get there, going to be difficult, right? Like, you have to figure out who you're going to cut because you can't keep all 20 guys. You're going to have to get that down to 17 players. Plus, if you include the two-way slots of 17 players, you have to get that down to 17 players. So it'll be tough, but he's putting a lot of pressure on them to make him a part of that group. Trey Mann also struggled in this game, as he has, all summer league. Shot 21% from the floor, 1 for 6 from 3, a steal, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 9 points. I'm not worried about it still. I went over this in depth yesterday, so you can go back and listen to yesterday's podcast as well if you haven't listened already. But we saw Trey Mann struggle in Summer League last year, and then he turned out to have a really good rookie season. And we have a larger sample size still to this day of him playing really good in the NBA versus playing really bad in the NBA Summer League, right? So like the post-All-Star break where he's shooting 35% on threes on 7 attempts per game, and he had, 30 balls last year in the NBA. Like, that kind of stuff, to me, outweighs what he's doing in Summer League. Also, he's not playing his role in Summer League. Like, Summer League is for getting creative. It's for trying new things. I think that's why you're seeing the turnover numbers from Josh Giddey and Chet Holmgren go up as well. You're seeing them try the behind-the-back passes and the creative passes. For Trey Mann, it's not necessarily passes, it's shots. Like, you're seeing him try these isolation, tough buckets where he's heavily defended, where he won't really be doing that or be given the freedom to do that much in the NBA, once the season starts on October 19th. So, like, I'm not worried about it. Now, he might struggle in the NBA too, but we've seen him thrive in his role. Again, the spacing SGA provides as well whenever they share the floor. Like, we've seen it in the NBA, so I'm not going to throw him out of the core just because of a bad Summer League stretch. But it is a bad Summer League stretch. He's playing bad. But I think that there's reasons to it, like trying out new things. SGA, speaking of him, was at the game. And so basically the entire roster was there. It was SGA there, Derek Favors was there, Kenny Hustle was there, Lou Dort was there, Ty Jerome was there, Theo Maledon was there, And then of course over half of them are playing on the actual team. So like it was a lot of the guys there that were on the team for the Thunder at Summer League. So that's great to see. That happens on every team around the NBA, you're going to notice, but it's still great that your guys showed up and supported. SGA also had a video on the official Thunder Twitter account where he was just saying, I can't wait to get back to the city, OKC, can't wait to get back to OKC, can't wait to get back on the floor. And so that kind of gave a breath of fresh air to Thunder fans who were worried about his Team Canada run. And he posted a story a few days ago of him wearing the number 2 for Team Canada and said that I think he said that red and white 2 hits different or something. Folks, SGA, since stepping in the NBA and stepping in OKC, has made it known how much playing for Team Canada matters to him and how important that is to him and how much he values that. Of course he feels great after playing for Team Canada. Of course he feels great for not only playing for Team Canada, dominating for Team Canada, and not only dominating for Team Canada, having actual Canadian media and Canadian players like Kelly Olynyk say he's the best Team Canada player of all time. Yeah, they had Steve Nash, by the way. Like, of course he feels great. Of course he feels awesome about that 2 in the red and white. This means he's going to go to Toronto, right? This means he's going to go play for the Raptors. Just like Trae Young isn't going to come play in OKC just because he plays in the Norman or Edmond Skins League in the summertime, right? So, like, let's not freak out until we have to. It's like I've said on this podcast before. The NBA is partnered with TNT because TNT is all about drama. The NBA is all about drama. So they put a lot of their games on TNT, even in the playoffs. Folks, don't go looking for drama in the NBA. You don't have to manufacture it. It's going to find you. Now, there are some sports where just drama never happens and it's boring and it sucks and you just have to look for content. Major League Baseball, anyone? Like that there's just no drama and you have to look for content in Major League Baseball. In the NBA, drama is everywhere and it's right around the corner. So don't panic about it until you absolutely have to, until it absolutely hits your door. And for SGA, it hasn't hit the door yet. And that Instagram story should not scare you. He literally has always said, I want to play for Team Canada. It's very important to me. And now he got to. And so obviously that's very, it's very encouraging for him. MVP of this game is Chet Holmgren. I think that he was just dominant in this game, and I hope we can see him play just because I'm selfish and I want to see him play basketball. But I would not be shocked if he doesn't play again in Summer League. Tomorrow's show will be a mailbag podcast. So drop your questions down below on YouTube or on Twitter at Rylan_Styles, at RYLAN_STILES. Make sure you check us out over there on Twitter and on YouTube, Lockdown Thunder on YouTube or Lockdown Thunder, anywhere you get your podcast from. Subscribe for free across all platforms. Every episode's free, Monday through Friday. Check us out. And until tomorrow for the mailbag episode, be good and be good to one another.